Alright, I'm trying to show you guys underneath the back behind the passenger side on the frame rail how I attached this little battery tray. It's from Amazon and it holds one of the Optima yellow tops. Um, so just so that's where the battery is gonna sit. I did battery relocation to clean it up under the hood. I don't know if you can see that, but that's just to give you a general idea of the product that I used and the area where it's going to sit. It's going to take about 11, a little bit over 11 feet of battery cable, and it's going to come up to this. The cable is going to be routed up to these distribution blocks. The battery cable is going to come up the frame rail. It's going to tuck up underneath, and then it's going to jump out this hole, one of these holes down here in this bottom corner to this red terminal. So we'll just have a little bracket holding those on. And for some of this wiring that I've got going on, here's another little bracket that I made to hold the Mega Fuse panel on. And this is going to sit, it's just got one of the lids for it on there. That's going to sit inside of the frame rail. I'm going to install it down here, and hopefully that will be a safe place and the right place to put it. It says to put it near to the battery source, so since the source is not the main battery, it's the distribution blocks, or I don't know, hopefully that'll be a good spot. But it's been pretty complicated doing all this wiring. Here's the ECM, the TCM, and the wiring harness. This is the reworked stock harness that Swap Time reworked for me. And I just went over it and added some split sleeve and some tape that I thought looked better. Um, like this cloth tape is covering over some shiny black electrical tape stuff that I didn't think looked as nice, so I put on this different stuff. This is the transmission control module, and it sits on this bracket like this. But with where I'm going to mount it, because if you look at it, this wire here, there's not very much slack at all. And with where the wiring harness sits, this is on the back of the engine. So it's either attach it to the firewall, or I could put it in the transmission hump inside the cab, but just barely, it would just barely reach inside the cab. So it's either extend the wires with a bunch of butt connectors, but this bundle of wires is like 20 wires, so I wouldn't really want to mess that up since this is the computer for the transmission. So what I decided to do was I'm going to attach it to the bolts on the transmission, and I've got these little uh, bracket pieces. So I've got two of these. One of them is going to be like an inch and a half longer because of the way that the transmission bolts are rounded, so that it will sit flush. And then the other little bracket pieces, there's one of them back here. It comes off of the transmission hump, one of the transmission hump bolts, but basically the TCM is going to sit here. And I don't know if any heat from the transmission is going to mess with it, so I made this little panel with some of the leftover titanium exhaust wrap on it, and then it's got high heat engine paint on the back. So this is going to sit beneath it. Actually, there's two panels, so these are going to be like sandwiched underneath of it like that to keep it from getting any heat. That, I don't know if you guys think putting the TCM directly above the transmission is a bad idea, because it's only going to sit like an inch off of it. I don't know if the heat from that there will mess with it, but I don't really think it will. But I would like to powder coat these brackets too, but I think it will. But this is just where I'm far and what it's kind of look. Oh, I also bracket. It's just sitting up under here. It's a bracket, and that's where the fuse box is going to mount to. So here's the fuse box, and it just clips up there like on my core support like that. It just sits there like that. And I'm going to install this wiring harness, and I have these butt connectors. These are non-insulated butt connectors with the heat shrink from AutoZone, and that's what I'm going to use to connect the fuel wire and some of the other wires, like some of the wires that came on this reworked harness that I need to butt connect are the starter solenoid and like the fuel this wire down here on the fuel fan, so that one of them just connects, this small one connects to the wire that comes off of the down near the ECM. So the ECM is going to be connected, this big guy is going to be connected down here, this guy's going to be connected over there, then I've got the LT2 intake sitting up on the roof to keep it from getting scratched, and inside of the cab I haven't been able to get very far with doing much of this wiring bundle yet. I do have the fuse box mounted, and I've got the dimmer switch covered with some of that cable sleeve stuff. But I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do a lot of it. There's another bracket under here, and that bracket that I made, instead of buying one for like 60 bucks, is strong enough. It's just thin sheet metal, but that's gonna hold my OBD2, my BIM, and my Dakota Digital computer box thing, which I have to figure out how to which wires that I need to hook up to that still. So that's been pretty complicated. I'm wiring a reworked L83 harness into a Dakota Digital HDX gauge cluster. And I've also got this mocked up. It's one of the transmission cooler lines. So I'm going to have some sort of clamp holding it down onto the fender here, or them down. There's two lines, and it's going to go under the frame rail. And let's see, this here is a ICT billet bracket. So for the front accessory drive, I'm going to try to use this ICT billet bracket instead of buying an expensive accessory drive. Like the anodized aluminum one was $3,000 from CBF Racing, but I'm going with this one, and hopefully it will be able to work with what the application is. So it requires a remote power steering pump and reservoir, so I gotta figure out all the lines for that still. But what I want to do is drive the truck without the vintage air installed first, so I don't need the AC compressor yet. But when I do finally get the AC compressor, I'm trying to decide if I want to attach the hoses through the shaved firewall, or if I want to try to direct them underneath the fender and up through the inner vent, kick panel vent. And here's what the radiator looks like from Swap Time. It's the radiator fan combo, and it's a Champion radiator, so I need to figure out all the hoses for that still, like these ones. And then I also have the shift linkage from Swap Time that connects the steering column to the transmission. And what you do is you bolt this onto your firewall like that. It's one of the brackets that holds the linkage in place. So that's kind of giving me a headache. I know all I need to do is put a little nutsert into it and figure out how to attach it so that the mechanism will work correctly. But I don't know, it's just been kind of troublesome. This wire bundle under here is for all of the headlights and everything, all the lighting. So I need to get this all connected with some of this split sleeve connector stuff. I had to order more, and I ordered 1/2-inch split sleeve for the 11-foot battery cable that it's going to require. Well, I'm going to order a 12-foot battery cable and have a little bit extra slack in it because I think it's about 11.5 feet. But yeah, anyways, this Boyd tank is all nice and wired up too. And now that I've got that wired up, I can start installing the bed. So hope you guys like the update. Wish me luck and let me know what you think about it so far.